Okay, the directions here for the Appeasement Simulation, which utilizes the cards that we have used before, going back to the European race for empire as well as the end of World War I with the Treaty of Versailles. You see some familiar cards, the Rhineland, money, Treaty of Versailles, military power, and so on. All of these cards that were required for European power to be considered a European power prior to World War I, which ultimately led to the start of World War I, and indirectly or directly lead to World War II, which is the primary focus for this particular game here. So you want to open up the appeasement file, and we're working with 4 students. One student's Britain, France. They are working together, and they're going up against Germany. Keep in mind, all of the cards, for the most part, are in possession of the British and French side. The 4th person is keeping score and completing the grid sheet. What's the grid sheet? The grid sheet is this one here, round 1, round 2, which is the slides in the PowerPoint. And you're just going to determine a winner or loser, whatever your conclusion is based on the discussion. So you know how we play this game. Each round, you have a discussion about the issue. In this one, you're negotiating a solution to the problem that's being presented. The Allied powers have all of the cards that Germany wants. In order for Germany to be considered an empire once again, they have to acquire the cards that are in possession of the British and the French. So that's pretty much the way that the game is played here. The Allied powers can use the Versailles Treaty. You do see the Versailles Treaty, so you can constantly remind the Germans that they did agree to certain items that are in the Treaty of Versailles. So simply put, you're just going to go one slide at a time, and this one is round 1. The issue here is that Hitler is coming to power in 1933. Is this a violation of the Treaty of Versailles? I don't think so. Hitler is not even an issue when the Treaty of Versailles is created. So you want to take round 1, and you just want to put round 1 here, have a conversation. Hitler comes to power. Um, is that a violation? What are you going to do? Are you going to use your military, if you're the British and the French, to try to prevent him from coming to power? If you do, that could be a problem for democracy. It also could lead to a war. And keep in mind, your goal is to end or not get involved in another conflict. Now, notice here, there is always a cost to go to war for the British and the French right here. There's always going to be a cost. So let's just say in round 1, the issue is that Hitler comes to power and the British and French say, you know what, we're not going to allow that to happen. We are just going to simply go to war at this particular point. Then this becomes your cost, $4 billion and 1 million soldiers dead. So I don't know what your thought is here, but if Hitler coming to power is an issue that is going to prompt you to lose this amount here, then so be it. Now keep in mind, you don't want to think about what happened ultimately historically. You don't want to be looking at this through today's eyes. You want to try to put yourself in the position of 1933. You just ended World War I. The British and French are rebuilding their nations. There's a lot of economic problems that are happening with those nations fighting World War One. After the conflict's over, and so you're trying to avoid war. For Germany, you're trying to obtain the cards. Now, for each round, let's just say in round 1, you decided to go to war. So you have $4 billion and you have 1 million soldiers dead. If in round 2, you continue that war, because round 2, the issue is going to change. I'm not going to go to that slide because I don't want to take any of this, want the element of surprise here. But let's just say whatever the issue is in round 2, if you are already in war from round 1, round 2, there's going to be another issue. So the question is, are you going to continue to fight the war? So let's just say in round 2, it costs 2 million and now you have 500,000 dead. Your total, you're adding them up per round. So in each round, you always want to think about whether or not the war is worth it, but that's only if you are already involved in the conflict. If you're not, then so be it. You kind of just keep on going. That's pretty much the way that the game is played, just in rounds. You want to keep track of your cards. You want to, if you're Germany, try to obtain the cards, and keep in mind, for the most part, everything that Germany is going to do here is a violation of the Treaty of Versailles. It is up to the British and French to try to enforce it. However, you are trying to avoid war. Is it worth it because Hitler is in power? Is it worth it because Hitler wants to take over the Rhineland? At the end, you're trying to utilize the policy of appeasement and play this game through those rounds. If you're the fourth person, you are going to fill this out. So like in round one, I decided to go to war. So in round one, we went to war. There's a cost attached. What was it, 4 million or 4 billion? I don't remember. 1 million dead, whatever it was. So I might just say, the winner in this case is going to be Germany, because the British and French are involving themselves in a war that is just costing too much. How did I come up with that? I don't know. Personal view. I don't know what's going on in the conversation. It could be anything. Uh, your job, once again, if you're Germany, is to acquire the cards. The British and the French are trying to avoid war. So the person scoring this should be thinking about those two objectives and whether or not it's being accomplished within the round. And that's it for this particular direction screencast.